All right, guys, welcome back. There has been quite the trial unfolding in Utah this week. It just began with opening statements. This is the trial of KOURI Richins, who is accused of poisoning her husband to death back in March of 2022. She is charged with aggravated murder, attempted criminal homicide, and financial crimes in the death of her husband, Eric Richins, who died from a lethal dose of fentanyl back in 2022. The prosecutors say that KOURI Richins spiked a Moscow Mule cocktail that she made him that had 5 times the lethal dose of fentanyl in it. This really started to gain immense attention years ago because she wasn't charged right away. And following Eric's death, she actually wrote a children's book about grief on how to deal with children on that called Are You With Me? It features a father with angel wings watching over his young son. KOURI and Eric have 3 children together. But shortly after that book was released, KOURI was actually arrested for his murder. Now, there's a couple aspects to this that really the prosecution is leaning into. We'll get into what the defense is leaning into as well. And of course, the bombshell testimony that happened today was the housekeeper who allegedly supplied the fentanyl to KOURI Richins that she asked for, took the stand and talked all about it today. So we're going to peel back the layers here, kind of get everybody up to speed on where this all stands in Utah. So the prosecutors allege that KOURI was not only $4.5 million in debt, but she also was having an affair at the time. Now, she's facing financial charges because she allegedly took out lines of credit on a property that she and her husband shared without knowledge of that. And she had also taken out multiple life insurance policies on him that he didn't know about. That is a classic. It almost always comes down to a life insurance policy with something like this. Well, Eric then was found dead. And this kind of unfolds in front of a lot of people's eyes, including his own family. On the defense's side of things, they say that KOURI Richins immediately called 911 hysterical when she found her husband dead, or not moving, at least unconscious, after they had had a night together that they thought was happy and celebrating. They also say from the defense's side that Eric had a history of using various drugs and substances, including THC gummies, and that he had Lyme disease and was addicted to painkillers. They suggested that he perhaps overdosed at the time. The defense also said that the two of them had gone through a tough year together. They both had considered divorce at one point, but that night specifically, they were super happy. They were celebrating a big real estate deal and a good business deal really for the family together. So let's talk about what's been key so far in this case this week. Opening statements started on Monday, and then today, of course, the last day before they go into the weekend. There's not typically court on Friday. So this is kind of getting everybody up to speed on what you can expect from this past week and then what you can expect coming up. So today, Carmen Lober took the stand. She was KOURI Richins' housekeeper who had actually told detectives at the time that she was the one who supplied the fentanyl to KOURI Richins. Now, she testified in court today under immunity. That means if she told the truth, the deal that she cut with the prosecutors and the detectives is that she will not be charged in this case. When she took the stand today and got up there, she said she needed to step up and take accountability for her part and what she asked for. She also talked about how she was in drug court at the time of this. They didn't want the court to find out, and that's why she was kind of doing some things, under the table, so to speak. But when she took the stand today, the prosecution got right into it to try to kind of cut to the chase and cut out any of that kind of extra stuff. And I want you to listen to how the prosecutor started by questioning her.
Did KOURI Richins ever ask you to purchase for her illicit drugs?
Yes.
How many times?
4.
How did KOURI Richins approach you about purchasing drugs?
She had reached out and asked if I could do her a favor, and I said, yeah, probably, what is it? And then she had called me and asked me if I could reach out to somebody for some pain meds for an investor that she knew. And I told her I could see what I could do.
So that's when Carmen starts working with the drug suppliers that she had to get the pills. There were 2 different suppliers over the times that KOURI asked. And they kind of are explaining who those people were and how Carmen had relationships with them. But she then goes into how she got the first round of pills. She gets them, and then how KOURI went about getting them and what she said next.
What did you do next?
Then I had texted KOURI and told her that I had got some pills for her and asked her what she wanted me to do with them. Told me she would, it was late when Susan returned, so she showed up in my driveway the next morning.
Okay, when you say she showed up in your driveway,
KOURI.
KOURI Richins showed
Yes.
up in your driveway the next morning.
Yes.
Lober told the court and investigators that she supplied KOURI with 2 batches of 15 to 30 fentanyl pills each. This was about 1 month before Eric's death, and that KOURI paid about $900 for each of the bunches there. She says KOURI asked her 4 times to purchase the illicit drugs and kept referring to needing a favor for an investor that needed pain meds. That was the way that KOURI would refer to this each time, according to the probable cause, according to the court documents, and then what was said in court today. At one point, I was watching Carmen's testimony live today. At one point, she said KOURI asked her for the, quote, Michael Jackson stuff. And Carmen said she had to actually Google what that meant, didn't know what that meant. And so that was kind of an interesting time frame in her testimony today. She also said that she learned about Eric's death a few days after he died based on her conversation with KOURI. Apparently, she said that when she found out he died or found out that she needed these pills, Carmen said to her, "Please don't tell me that these pills are for him, for Eric," to which she said KOURI responded, "Oh no, he died from a brain aneurysm." Now, Carmen's testimony goes in line with some other things that we knew from court documents, other parts of this case, and that would be that Eric Richins told friends that he believed that KOURI was trying to poison him before he actually died. I'm going to go into that a little bit. Reportedly, we knew that she had asked the cleaning lady, Carmen, the housekeeper, for fentanyl in early 2022, and she said that she had bought more than 15 pills and gave them to KOURI on February 11th. So again, Eric died in March, February 11th. Well, on Valentine's Day, so February 14th, KOURI allegedly made Eric a sandwich, and later that day, Eric told 2 friends he felt like he was going to die and told a friend, quote, "I think my wife is trying to poison me." He told the other friend that he broke out in hives, he used an EpiPen, and drank an entire bottle of Benadryl after to try to help that. The defense countered that and said that he just had an allergic reaction to the sandwich. But then prosecutors say KOURI eventually asked Carmen for more drugs and said that these were not strong enough. So the records show that she bought more on February 26th. The phone records show that KOURI Richins was in contact with Carmen at that time. And the time that Carmen allegedly met the drug dealer to get these pills, Eric was dead a week later. So this was pretty bombshell testimony, Carmen being probably one of the prosecution's star witnesses in this case. But that's not the only thing that we saw this week. That's just what unfolded today on Thursday. Opening statements were interesting, but so was some of the video that was shown in court. And that includes some of the body camera footage that was shown from the time that officers get to the Richins home and they find KOURI there talking about what happened. I want to play some of that for you now.
So what happened today? When you say we were fine, what time did you see him when he was alert?
We had a drink together at 9 to celebrate something at work tomorrow.
Okay.
We went to bed. I went to bed with my kids. He went to bed in our bed.
What time did you guys go to bed?
9:30.
9:30. Okay.
9:45.
And then what alerted you to him today, right now?
When I just woke up, I always, when I sleep with my kids, I always wake up and I go back in my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
I just crawled over on his side.
And he was laying in bed? Okay.
He was on his back on the bed, and
Okay. And he was on, you said he was on his back? Okay. Where are your children now?
Asleep in that room. Two are awake with their ear to the door. I don't want them to go out. Please don't make them come out.
Where are the other two at that are awake?
No, my bedroom.
And I watched Officer Nguyen, or Deputy Nguyen, testify, and something that I thought was interesting, he said on the stand, among when they were showing this body camera video, he was asked if her demeanor, her behavior was normal or abnormal, and he actually said he found it to be abnormal, not so much because she was hysterical. That is something that you would expect when you find your husband unconscious. But he said that she would not look at him at all, that she kept her hands like this, kind of in her, in right here, and like looking down the whole time. And he found it very odd. He said normally in a situation like this, the person would have so many questions, and the way that they would address, they might be hysterical and upset, but would look at him to address the questions, to try to almost like even maybe gain some care, some comfort. And he noted that KOURI Richins did not know that, and that was pretty odd. Another key witness for the prosecution this week was Eric's sister, Katie. I watched some of her testimony as well. She was very matter-of-fact, to the point, so much so that actually at one point, when people were out of the courtroom and the live streams, the feeds were still running, the defense kind of referred to her as a hostile witness. She was pretty direct, pretty sharp, when she definitely didn't agree with what she was being asked. And a lot of that came from, of course, the defense attorney there. But Katie had some pretty powerful words. One of those being when she recalled her dad giving her a call saying that Eric had died. She was, beside herself. She had also testified that in the days after Eric died, KOURI still went through on closing on a massive mansion that she wanted. And Katie testified saying, are you seriously still going to do this after your husband died, after my brother? I mean, is this what we're doing? And KOURI allegedly responded, yeah, the money had already gone through. She also accused KOURI of stealing money from Eric and shared that with the officer in the wake of his death, saying that this is something that they should know. She described in the courtroom the moment that she actually got to the home and saw her brother. It was a heart-wrenching moment. Take a listen.
I walked in, I kind of flung through the door, and I saw KOURI standing on the other side of the staircase. She just shook her head at me. Sorry guys, bear with me, I apologize. And I knew right then my brother was gone. And I fell to the floor.
Just awful, awful. So she was one of the star witnesses as well. And I know some people are commenting here, just kind of watching KOURI's emotions was interesting, or, finding them a little bit suspect, the way that she was acting. And obviously Officer Nguyen felt the same way. So this trial is nowhere near over. And among these kind of bombshell testimony moments in the courtroom, there's a lot of other things too. When you're talking about fentanyl and you're talking about the bloodstream and things like that, there's a lot of technical testimony as well, coming from people who perform autopsies, from lab technicians, from forensics. I mean, there's a lot of that too, and those were just moments we didn't play on the show tonight, but there's quite a bit that's between these moments as well. This trial is expected to go through the end of March. Obviously a lot on the line here, so we'll be able to follow this throughout. I know a lot of people have a vested interest in this, to see who else also takes the stand. Of course, always a question, would KOURI take the stand herself? I can almost guarantee you her attorneys would say absolutely not. But we'll see where this goes. We'll be paying attention in the coming weeks as this continues.